All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Juwan Rohan, and this is the Misguided Podcast. We intend to guide you to a better future. I'm sitting here with Arias Williams, author of Knucklehead Fred. How are you doing today, my brother?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. It's a beautiful morning, and I'm happy to be here.
It is a beautiful morning, and it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Nice.
Thank you.
Of course, man. So, you got any plans? Any plans for the birthday? Let the audience know.
Yeah, man, I'm hitting up Vegas with my boy. We're just gonna go hang out and just try to make some music for the next couple of days. There's been an album project brewing in my head for like years, and I want to take these few days and try to, knock some stuff out. So
I feel it. Yeah, you need that me time, huh?
Exactly.
Nice. What kind of music you do?
I mean, it's hip hop related, but kind of like hip hop singy, definitely conscious. I always like to, have a message and a meaning behind my music. So that's kind of like my lane, kind of like conscious hip hop type.
Okay, cool. So do you rap, or is it mostly just singing type stuff?
I do both. I
Okay.
rap and, like rap sing.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. You do your own beats?
I do make my own beats, but also use other beats as well, from YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah, facts. That's cool, man. Cool. So let's see, how I was introduced to you was through Antoine, who I still haven't released his episode yet, but it's coming. Antoine Bandelay, we did an episode, and he has a great story, and he told me about you because I was like, I had just wrote a book, Money Talks, The Beginner's Guide to Investing for Kids. And he helped with the audio book, and then helped getting like he's so smart. He knows like where to go to do all the like publishing, all the like find a way voices. He just knows everything, right? So he's
great, man.
Yeah, he helped me like put everything together and got it off. And so thank you to that. And then he introduced me to you because he was like, yeah, I was on his website and I was like, who the hell did Knucklehead Fred? Because it sounds dope as hell. And he was like, oh, that's my boy. Like, and then I was like, oh man, that's like amazing that you can write a book and do it in a rhyme scheme, and it's like so easy for kids. Like that's how I comprehend, right? Like I studied psychology in college, so like I know that's how you reach kids. Like I did kids specifically, like child development, and so I was like, that's amazing. Like whoever thought of this idea. And he was like, I could put you in contact. And I was like, bingo. So that's cool, man. Yeah. Being a musician myself, like I really like the idea of being able to have fun and read at the same time, because reading sucks like to most people, right? Right. So
right.
So like when you find ways to be creative about it, it's super cool.
It is.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Let's go ahead and get into your story of where you're from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from here. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised. Grew up, with my parents on my block, which was like a, kind of like Maywood in the hood. Like it was like small town feeling block, very family oriented. Obviously we had like all the issues of a major city, but where I grew up, it was a lot of love. So that's kind of my story. And then
what's the name of the city? What's the name of the city?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. You grew up in Los Angeles. Okay.
Yeah.
So then you went to Berkeley?
But, ended up going to Berkeley for college, and from there, took on the world, man. Like I ended up studying abroad, and that was like a real life-changing experience for me. I went to Ghana for a year, studied abroad in Africa, and from then on, I spent a lot of time in Africa, and there is where I also was able to like start to develop my, craft of writing and, making music as well, just by feeling the vibes and the inspiration of the people out there. So Berkeley and Africa are probably like two of my huge influences, because Berkeley, at that time, especially, hip hop was like really people were really on it, you know. And so I met a lot of people, I made a lot of friends, and was able to really dive into my creativity. And so that's my story in short.
Yeah.
Where I'm from and stuff like that.
So what'd you study in college?
I actually was a history major. Studied history.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Right.
rarely meet history majors. What made you do that?
Man, honestly, you know, you go to college, you're not sure. Well, for me, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. It's just you're supposed to go to college. Your parents say get good grades and go to college. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And so I got there. I'm like, man, I don't really know what I want to do, but I always loved history. You know, my dad was a history buff. He kind of passed it on to me. And so those are the classes I liked, and I just stuck with it and ended up majoring in history. So
that's crazy. That's crazy. Cool. So you major in history and you go to Ghana for a year. Were you able to pick places where you can go, or?
I was.
And you were like, send me to Africa, send me home, huh?
Actually, I met a friend who had just come back. I met a friend just come back, and he was like telling me all his stories. I was like, "Oh, this sounds cool." I mean, I had never even thought of it. I didn't even know studying abroad was a thing until I met him, and I was like, "I think I want to do that." And it's life-changing.
That's crazy because like everyone I meet who studied abroad either goes to Spain, right? Spain's like number one, or like Italy or something, and it's just cool to see like you go to Africa and live, like, you know, and just and really live in the culture, dive in the culture. That's super dope. Cool. So were you introduced to music before going to Ghana and before going to Berkeley? Like, did you grow up in a household full of music?
I mean, I did. My parents, my dad especially, was a music lover. Like, he collected lots of records, played them a lot. He introduced me to a lot of really dope, you know, old school artists growing up.
What, NWA? At the time?
No, even older than that. Like at the time, I couldn't even listen to NWA and all that stuff when I was a kid. I didn't even. I mean, you know, you heard it because it was everywhere. But in terms of what I was listening to at that time as a kid, Bobby Brown, like New Edition, you know, all that. That's kind of what I was. And then I started getting into hip hop, Houdini. I'm older, so Fresh Prince was like a big one at the time. Like he didn't curse, so I could listen to that. And then I went to high school. My high school though was Music Academy. I went to Hamilton Music Academy, and that high school, it's just very creative. It's almost like a Fame. I don't know if you remember Fame. It's like an old TV show. Fame was a music school. And so it's kind of was like that. And so people every day, you know, there was battles by this certain tree, and they were large. And so I didn't really rap at the time, but I beatboxed. So I would get in there and do my, like, you know, make the beat like beatboxing. And so that was like my real introduction into, you know, hip hop. But then when I got to Berkeley, I started like rapping and starting, you know, freestyling and writing, and then, you know, doing that. So started in high school, but really started to flourish in college in Berkeley.
Okay, cool. And how'd you get into writing? How were you introduced to writing?
Man, through hip hop, but then just like wanting to, you know, having things on your mind, wanting to express yourself. You know, for me, there was a time where I felt like I was, you know, surrounded by so many creative people doing their thing, and I was like, "Dang, what's my thing?" You know, like didn't really know. And so, but I knew I could write. You know, I was always good at that since I was a little kid.
So when you were like writing, were you very story based and like wanting to tell a story, or was it just like, let me rhyme?
Right, just like get things off my chest, like politics. Social things going on, you know, wasn't anything story based at all. Not until later.
Cool. And when did that shift happen for you? When did you start becoming more story based?
Later on, like my whole thing is through the vehicle of music and rap, really. Wanting to get a message out and then linking up with other friends and collaborating with them.
Okay.
I ended up writing a musical called The Museum of Living Art, and it was a collaboration with me and a few friends. And this was like really the first time that we got together and used our music and our talents to really tell a full story. And I saw the impact that we did like 2 runs here in LA where we did the play like 8 times, the musical, and the reaction that people gave and the emotional connection they had to the story and the music. I was like, oh man, this is dope. This is something I want to continue doing. I really enjoyed it. So from then on, a lot of the things I've done, it wasn't like I thought like, oh, I want to do this. It was just like a urge, like a feeling. So that's kind of like where it comes from for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, like for me, it was, I've always like wanted to tell a story in music and writing and stuff. Like I originally started with poetry. I don't know if it's the same for you, but poetry was like heavy for me. Yeah, and being able to express your feelings and like express your feelings and jot down, like, when you said you would write about like politics and just what you're going at the moment, that's like super like venting. Like for me, it's like, you're not really talking to anyone, right? You're not talking to a therapist, not talking to your friends, and it's just kind of like your ideas, right? And you put them down on paper, and it's almost as if like the paper's talking back, right? Like I feel like only writers will understand this, but it's like it's like a therapy session. And
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, you don't even need to hear anything from anyone. It's just like, let me just get it out, right? So yeah, that's super interesting. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it started for me. Like, I started with poetry before I started rapping. I was just writing poems, and I would never share any of it with anybody. I was too shy. Mm-hmm. But then a friend of mine, he actually pushed me on stage at this poetry open mic thing, and I did my poem. It was horrible. I was so nervous and I had no confidence, but that experience, I was super embarrassed, but I lived, it was like, I lived through the embarrassment.
I could do this.
Being embarrassed ain't that bad. So I've been able to put myself out there again and again and get better,
Yeah. Let's talk about kind of like the support artists get through music and the support you get through like your friends, right? So, and what I mean by this is I want to know, like, was the same when your friends found out you were doing music, did they support you as much as they supported you when you dropped your book, Knucklehead Fred? Was there a difference?
Yeah, there was definitely a difference. I think the response I got from Knucklehead Fred is immense. People really responded positively to it. They love the idea. They love the artwork. They love the rhyming story. They love that it's geared towards kids and families. So when I started doing music, it was more like, really? like for the most part, because I was such a shy and quiet person, always very studious and just straight arrow. And like, oh, you want to rap? It's like, yeah. But the main reason I wanted to rap is because I wanted to at that time, I wanted to like be like a leader like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all of them. And I was like, the way that we could do that today is through music. Like no one listens to someone just talking anymore. It's all through music. And so that was my reason for wanting to do it. So from my friends who didn't understand, it wasn't always positive. It was more like, oh, Arias is tripping. But then I made new friends who were in the world that I was in. And they encouraged me and really helped me to develop my skills, my talents, and my confidence. So friends are definitely integral in terms of helping push you and sharpen your sword. So my friends have definitely been very influential.
Why do you think it's like that? Like the support is like that? Because the same thing happened to me. Like when I dropped my book, like it's still getting love. Like, and it's crazy, right? Like just how overwhelming the love is, right? But then like the music, it's like they look at you and they're like, wait, like Juwan? Like so, and so why do you think that is? I want to dive deeper into this.
I don't know, man. I think I don't know. I think, you know, in terms of rap, especially, like, it's a lot more edgy, you know, like, I got more, I like rap is on the edge of what's acceptable most of the time. And so, you know, people tend to put you in a box, you know, they feel like they have their ideas of who you are and what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing music, people think that music is just made for special people. Like only certain people can do it. Like you're born with this thing to do music, and if you're not born with that, then you shouldn't be doing it. And I think in terms of, you know, writing books, I think similarly, like writing a book seems really difficult. You know, like it seems like people like, oh, how'd you do that? You know, but when you write a book, it's like just maybe some more acceptable means of communication. I really don't know, but I think maybe just the boxes people put you in and more than anything.
Yeah, nah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, a lot of people think like writing a book is super hard, but there's for me when I first started, it definitely was a lot easier. And like, you know, there's ways you can go around it. Like ghostwriters, right? Like, dude, like ghostwriting in hip hop is so frowned upon, right? But ghostwriting in books is like an everyday normal thing. And I'm like, I never knew about that. I was like, oh man, everyone's gonna hate me if I go like hire a ghostwriter on Fiverr. And then everyone encouraged it. And I was like, wait, what?
right. Yeah.
But yeah, what's up, everybody? We are back from little break. Cool. Let's go ahead and dive into before we get to Knucklehead Fred. I just found something out in the intermission that I kind of want to dive into. But yeah, Arias lived in Nigeria from 2013 to around 2016, correct?
Yep.
Cool. And so I kind of want to dive into what made you take that jump of you and your wife moving out there? Did you already have your kids at the time? Like that's a huge, you know, like move from the US, especially from two of the biggest cities in the country. Like you lived in LA and Berkeley.
Yeah, I did have my kids at the time. I mean, most of the things I've done have been driven by like a passion to do something creative.
Okay.
So me and my wife, we have written a story script about ancient, you know, African culture, like an ancient African mystical fantasy story.
Is she a writer too? She writes too?
She does write. She does write. She is a lawyer by profession, but she does write as well. She actually wrote our web series, Discovering ABJ, and she actually even wrote the short script for the Ashe film as well.
Okay. Okay.
So,
damn.
Yes. So yeah, she is a writer. She's very talented and creative woman. But
it sounds like she's in the back because you were like, oh, she's amazing.
She is though. She is.
Nah,
funny. Yeah. Yeah. So we ended up. I was like, yo, let's go to Africa. Let's go to Nigeria. Let's try to film this and, you know, just have an adventure. You know, like you only live once as far as we know, and life is short, you know. So I'm always about, you know, let's do something different, you know, let's live our life, let's see what's up, let's go on an adventure. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but hey, you know, let's do it. So my wife is actually Nigerian and she grew up partially in Nigeria. And so we ended up going back there with our two kids, and it was an amazing experience, man. We started a production company called Nappy Media, and we started making short films and music videos and web series. And so that's been one of my most difficult experiences, but also one of the most valuable experiences I've had to date.
So how do you get to Nigeria and you're like, okay, let's find people to film this? Like you don't know anybody, or maybe your wife had family out there who maybe knew somebody. Like how does that happen?
My wife did have family out there. who definitely supported us a lot and helped us set up. At the time, they they owned an office building, which we were able to set our studio up in the office building. And from there, we reached out to the Nigerian Actors Association, and then we put a casting call out for our first short. And man, a lot of people came because people out there, man,
they said America.
They're trying to do something. They're trying to make an impact, do something.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And man, it was great, man. We were able to really meet some really talented people out there, man. And still to this day have relationships and friendships and even business that I'm doing there. So
yeah,
it's a great experience.
Cool. Let's go ahead and well, we'll get to it actually. I want to move to the Hella Misguided segment where I ask the same question to each entrepreneur who comes up here. And that question is, if you were to write a letter to your 18-year-old self, what would a summary be of that letter?
Man, the summary would be, don't be afraid to take risks. Okay. Believe in yourself. Don't take too much advice from other people. And don't stop. Like, don't pause on what you're doing. No pauses. Keep going. So I've done that a lot, and keep going no matter what. Towards in the same direction. So whatever your vision is,
don't take any shit.
Yeah, don't take any left turns, right turns. Just go straight towards your vision. No matter how possible it seems at that moment, just go straight towards it. Because when you make a left, you make a right. Now you're starting over from scratch. So that's what I would say. Just keep going straight towards your goal. No detours.
Nice, cool. All right, I think it's time we talk about Knucklehead Fred now.
All right, let's do it.
So you got it's a 3-book series.
Right.
We got Knucklehead Fred. We got the Principles Challenge, and I don't know how to pronounce this. You want to take this one away?
The Benign Bully.
The Benign Bully. Okay, cool.
Right.
And man, who did your cover art? Because this is amazing.
Man, this is a cat named Bolaji Olaloye. He's a Nigerian dude based in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. He's an amazing illustrator. And Antoine connected.
Jesus.
He made it happen, man.
Yeah, that's crazy sick. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Just start with Knucklehead Fred. How'd you even come about this, man?
Man, real life inspiration, man. I have 2 kids, and so one day we were out eating somewhere, and they were just acting crazy and misbehaving, and the concept came into my head. I was like, man, he like Hardhead Fred, and I was like, it started out as Hardhead Fred because I make a lot of nicknames. I just rhyme stuff, just being silly, and I was like, Hardhead Fred, that sounds interesting. So I wrote the first version of the book, probably like an hour. It just came really easily. It was super easy. And I read it and I was like, this is cool. I was like, maybe I can make something of this. And so I at the time I had a friend who drew. And so my friend drew the first concept art. It was great. People loved it then. And then, I linked up with Antoine. He used his skills and his connections and his ability to connect dots. And he, took it to another level. So that was a basic inspiration, just venting about being a parent and what it's like parenting hard-headed, knuckle-headed kids. And that is how it all started.
Is the book more for kids or more for parents?
I mean, really, it's really both, because the first book especially, it teaches, but I feel like it's also entertaining for kids as well. So I would say it's a family book. Honestly, it's a family book because as a parent, when you read books, you read your book to your child. Mm-hmm. And so it's got to be entertaining for you too, because as a kid, when my kids were really little, I read them a lot of books, and there were some books I really liked a lot. Like I enjoyed them, and there were other books that were like kind of boring to read, and you don't really want to read it, because it's boring to you. So
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a parent, as a writer, it's good to keep that in mind, especially for children's books, that parents need to enjoy it as well, because they'll want to read it and their kids will want to hear it. So
Yeah. No.
yeah.
Yeah. That's facts. Okay, so you write the first one. And then when did you start like, oh, let me just write the second one and the third one? Like
Okay, so um, and then I liked it. We made the first book. I thought it was dope. This is before I even hooked up with Antoine, because it's just the concept art. And then I was like, let me write a second one. I actually wrote the second one in Nigeria. And I linked up with my boy again, and he drew the second book. We're calling it concept art now because we've now updated all the art and just took it to another level. But and so yeah, I had that first and second book, and I sold a few copies of the first book, like just on my own hand to hand. But then we moved to Nigeria, and so all that stopped. So those books just sat for like years,
yeah.
honestly, like maybe 2-3 years. And so when we moved back to the States, I still had those books in my brain. I was like, man, people haven't benefited from them. It hasn't really gotten out there. So I hit up Antoine. I was like, yo, how would you feel about working with me on my Knucklehead Fred books? Put again. He was like, for sure. And so this went from there. He hooked up with Bolaji, and man, the rest is history. And so those first two books came, and then the third one came, and then now I have another one brewing, and I'm also working on some other stuff where I want to, turn the series into an animated series for kids on television. So that's my future goals for now. So
Nice. How are you getting
yeah.
that going with the animated series? How are you finding
Well,
people?
right now I'm still in the process of honing the pilot script. But my wife, she works in the entertainment industry, so we have some connections and people that we want to pitch it to when the time comes. So that's really part of the plan. But the
That's
plan
awesome.
first is just to continue writing books and just to the point where they're beloved by a lot of people, and then that will help us turn it into a show. So
That's awesome, man.
that's my
That
goal
would be
for now.
amazing. I feel like a lot of people would really watch this, and like the title is amazing. You got to patent it and everything. Um, but I just feel
Right.
yeah, it's amazing, man. Great job. I need to read it. I'll read it to my son and stuff. So I need to purchase this. I see it's on Amazon and stuff.
Yeah.
5 stars, 62 ratings. Okay, my brother. Let's get it.
Man, that first one, man, people love it, and yeah, I mean, I think they're all good. I like all of them, but the first one is like people really love that one, and a lot of kids they tell me they love the third one as well. Like
Oh,
people
really?
all like different ones, honestly. People like different ones, but a lot of kids like that third one. Um, the third one deals with bullying, like not really like that's why it's called the benign bully, because he kind of bullies a friend unintentionally. Just kind of,
Okay.
he makes fun of somebody like,
Mm-hmm.
but he does it in a way to where the kid is really embarrassed. And so, now they have to reconcile. And so they use like a restorative justice circle, which is something I got from my teaching. I've been a teacher for the past 3-4 years. So we use a lot of RJ circles, and so it's a way to like get your feelings out and kind of heal when trust has been broken. So I put that in that third one. So man, when I look at the books, man, I look at the artwork. It's like that's why I want to make it into a television show. So I'm like, I see the artwork and it's like jumping out at me, like, please animate me.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no, for real. And like I didn't even know how big your book is. I'm looking at like the review photos and stuff. Like it's huge. It's a huge hardcover, which is dope. You know what I mean? Like there's a photo of a mom reading to her 2 kids, and like the book is like taking up the whole couch. And it's like it's great marketing too. Like you know what I mean? But that's amazing, man. Cool. So you got the animation on the way. I hope that goes well for you, brother. That would be super dope. Um Let's see. I'm looking at your digital media. I kind of want to talk about that digital media. We kind of brushed over, so they're probably like, what the hell is he talking about? All these short films and stuff. So how did you get started with digital media first? And then we can talk about your short film and discovering ABJ.
I get started, man. I don't know, man. It's just like I'm explorer. Like I like to explore life. I like to explore different forms of creativity, and a lot of it is just me trying to figure out what am I good at. You know, like what am I good at? And so I started. I lived in New York for a while as well, like maybe a year. 1 year I lived in New York, and I had gotten a camera, and I just started interviewing people on the streets. And from then on, when I came back to LA, I started dabbling in like putting together. Oh, when I started doing music, I started making my own music videos. That's what it was. And so so me and friends, we would connect and make music videos. And so just just that love for creating. And then when we went to Nigeria, so the web series, I actually did all the cinematography on that web series, which I'm really proud of it. It's not perfect, but it's really good. The story is great. Um, I did the editing, I did everything. I did the editing, I did the cinematography, and I did the sound
On
on
discovering ABJ?
ABJ. Yeah,
What?
my wife wrote it. She wrote the script and directed it, and
That's
pretty much
crazy.
did everything else.
Are
Yeah,
the actors, you hired the actors?
yeah, we hired all those actors. Yeah, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. How many episodes are there?
8, I believe it's 8 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy. What shit. Okay, so what made you and your wife write this story? And what is the story about for people listening?
We talking about Ashe or discovering
Let's
ABJ?
do discovering ABJ.
Okay, so discovering ABJ came after we did Ashe, and we were like, because our whole goal for Ashe was it was a concept trailer to try to pitch it for a television show,
Mm-hmm.
in the vein of like Game of Thrones. And so the after we did Ashe, it's kind of like a lull. We weren't doing anything, and so we were like, let's do something. Like, let's make something else. And so my wife came up with this idea, and she wrote the script, like all 8 episodes, and we ended up shooting it. We wanted to do something that was just easy to do. We didn't need like $1 billion, like because in our in our mind for Ashe, it was like $100 million like thing, But we didn't have that,
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
have that money, so we're like, let's do something like that we can do on our own. And so we just ended up putting it together and going for it. And so we built a set. Like, she has an apartment. It looks like it's a real apartment, but it's just a room in her office that we turned into her
Yeah.
apartment. And we just use all our resources and our people, man, and all the support we had out there in Nigeria just to do what we could.
That's like the new thing nowadays, is right. You hear it from comedians who pitch their stuff to Netflix, is that it used to be, hey, I need Netflix money to do the comedian show. Like, I need you guys to pay for it up front. Now it's the comedians are doing their own stuff in their own cities, filming it, hiring everything, and then going down to Netflix and sitting down at the table saying, hey, this is what I think this is worth. What can you give
Right.
me? Right. And that's kind of like almost what you were doing, because you're like, oh, this could be a $100 million movie, but let's work on our budget. Let's get it out there first. Let's get like a little trailer that we can go and sit down and pitch it to someone. Hey, you have the money to make this look a lot better. What can you do?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's interesting. I like to preach that to everyone listening, especially all the artists and people in this industry, wanting to have those sit down meetings with people. Do the work first, right? Do the legwork first. Show that you are invested in it. Don't just go with just a blank paper and say, hey, I have this thought. Right.
Right. Because it's not gonna happen especially the way, what I've learned in terms of what I've learned from the entertainment industry is like, you need to make something first, whether it's a book, graphic novel, short, whatever, because they almost never make stuff just based on your idea, like
Exactly.
today. which is the benefit of the era that we live in, because we have so much access to social media, first of all, the internet, but secondly, digital media equipment, from your iPhone to black magic cameras and reds, which make you look like you have $1 million,
Yeah.
to all the color correction stuff you have right at your fingertips. You have everything now. Like, so there's really no reason, like, we don't really need, if you're dedicated enough, you could really make a dope feature that's amazing with just all the resources that you have available. So
Yeah.
that's one of the benefits of it. Live great.
No, facts. Cool, man. Well, that's amazing, man. And I really hope you get on TV one day. All right. I'm a model too, so you could cast me,
Yeah.
man. Cool.
Hey, man, I'm gonna make it happen, man. Like I said, I learned from the past, so it's like, it's like you gotta focus your energy, and just focus your energy, and not say not have other jobs, but like focus your energy on what it is you want to do and keep going at that. And so
Yeah.
we gonna make it happen one way or another.
There you go. Love the attitude and love the spirit. Cool. Well, we're gonna wrap up pretty soon. I have a few more questions before we do. I want to know, what other ways are you building generational wealth? Obviously, this is so underlooked, but a book is generational wealth. You putting your name on a book and it, being out there, right, on Amazon, in the world, and floating around the world, touching kids, right? Like, we just talked about it, 62 5-star reviews. There's moms reading it to their kids. That book, those kids will remember. So that right there is building generational wealth, just being an artist. Are there other ways? Are you invested in real estate, stocks, 401ks? What you got, man?
All right. So I do want to speak real quick to what you just said. That intellectual property is really generational wealth, especially book form. And people really underestimate it. People want to jump to movies and all this stuff first, but really books last a long time, and people make movies based on books. So you never know, like, what your book can turn into, and that can bring hundreds of millions of dollars in the future, literally.
And a quick thing, one of the main books that always pops up on this episode is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Literally every episode, someone's like, that is what made me start my entrepreneurial journey. So right there, that's intellectual property. That's generational wealth, because that book was written years ago, and still people of all generations are coming up talking about that book. So yeah, amazing.
Impacted me for sure.
Facts.
And then me and my wife, we just bought a house. It's our first
hey, congrats.
Home. So
how was that process?
So that kind of introduced. Oh man, it was really great, honestly.
Really? That's good.
It went well. Yeah, we had a really great real estate agent, and found a nice house in LA, which is no small thing. In terms of, like, you know how the real estate market is, in the area that we wanted to buy. And so that process taught us that, we could do this real estate thing. So we're kind of like thinking about, other properties eventually, as we fix up our house here, and duplexes and stuff like that. I also do play around in stocks a little bit, nothing major. I use cash and just whatever extra money I have. I, play around with the ETFs. Right. But I think in terms of us outside of creativity, definitely real estate, both residential and commercial properties, is probably things we want to do in the future as time goes, because it is, I've experienced this where you make a lot of money and then you look back and you're like,
where'd it go?
Yeah, you're like, where did all that go?
Yeah.
It's like, it's gone. So learning from the past, it's like, let's do things that where when we stop working, we're still straight. We still got money coming in, and real estate for us seems like the most fun, really, because it's fun, like taking something that's broken down and putting it back up into something that's beautiful. So I think that's probably the next step for us.
Cool. Well, let me know when you want to buy a house, man. I'm a realtor. I got you.
Okay.
But real estate is definitely like the number one wealth builder. So yeah, definitely that should be in your future plan. Do you work like what like a 9 to 5? What do you do? I don't even think we got to that.
Well, I've been a teacher for the past 3 years. I taught seventh grade science, but this year I'm taking a year off to focus primarily on my creativity, my writing, books and scripts. So and doing some music as well. So, but yeah, I've been a teacher by trade for the past 3-4 years. So that's
Okay.
been my job.
That's cool. All right, let's see. We got anything else? What are some books and podcasts that you're listening to, if you're listening or reading any?
Right now I'm reading what's it called, The Fifth Season, by N.K. Jemisin. It's a fantasy novel.
Okay.
It's really dope. It's kind of dark, but it's really good. I'm also reading TJ and the Orishas right now.
Okay.
I almost don't read all. I listen to all my books.
I listen to all too. I don't
TJ and the
read.
Orisha.
Yeah.
Right. It's just I don't know if it's bad or good. It's just what it is. It's the best way that I can.
It's the new world, because we're doing so many things, right? We got kids, like it's just so hard to sit down and read and like
right. Like if I'm listening, I can be washing dishes. I can be doing whatever.
Exactly.
But TJ and the Orishas. Right now, I'm also listening to a lot of Sadhguru. He's like Indian mystic guru type guy. So I'm listening to his books. I'm honestly a voracious listener of books. I listen to a lot of books. So there's a lot of books that I'm reading. But right now, my two main are The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin and Antoine's TJ and the Orishas. So that's what I'm into right now.
Cool. All right, my brother. Well, this has been amazing. I don't want to take up too much of your time on your birthday. I know you probably want to head to Vegas already in that hot weather.
Yes, sir.
But no, the way I like to wrap up the episode is with a segment called Guided Conclusions, where I ask a question we haven't talked about previously to this recording. It could be funny, serious, or heartbreaking. I'm not gonna break a heart today. Today's question is funny. And the question is, would you rather give up beverages except water or anything that was cooked in the oven for the rest of your life?
Dang, I actually like water a lot. I drink a lot of water, so
but for the rest of your life, though, it's
an easy one. I mean, but give up anything that was cooked? Nah,
no, only in the oven though. So I guess you gotta like barbecue.
Only in the oven.
Yeah, like how much do you cook in the oven?
Okay.
Right.
That's true. So that means no pies or nothing, though, right? No cakes.
No cookies. Ooh, I love cookies.
Okay, yeah, dang, yeah. You know what? I think I'll take water.
You take water?
It's easy one. Yeah.
All right. For sure. Yeah, there's a lot of good things cooked in the oven. Like I love peach cobbler.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot. I could definitely survive like eating like barbecue or something.
Yeah, no problem. Easily.
Still got the stove top, so you good.
Right.
But
I guess you can still bake. You can still kind of bake some stuff on the stovetop as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, you gotta be creative. You gotta be creative.
Right.
For sure. Hey, well, I appreciate you coming up here, Arias, man. Go ahead and drop your social media for everyone to follow.
Man, you can find me on IG at Aristotle, AriasTotle, or Aristotle.com, or Knuckleheadfred.com. All those things take you to the same place.
Hey, yeah, and dope website and dope name, Aristotle. That's dope. So
thank you.
Hey, appreciate you coming up here today, my brother. I hope you have a wonderful birthday and stay in touch. Definitely, man.
Thank you, man. And thanks for having me, bro.
Of course. Well, you guys heard it here. This is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. My name is Juwan. Again, I'm sitting here with Arias Williams, author of Knucklehead Fred. Thank you.